Welcome back to the Postpartum Plan podcast. This podcast is designed to support and empower you through postpartum. Whether you're expecting, in the early postpartum days, or beyond, this space is for you. I'm your host, Madison Fugere, a dedicated postpartum doula and pediatric sleep consultant, striving to help parents feel confident and supported in their parenting journey. Each week, I'm sharing practical tips and expert advice to help you navigate all the postpartum things with confidence. Well, as much confidence as you can. Let's embark on this journey together, making your parenthood as serene and supportive as possible. Hello, postpartum besties, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm super excited to have you guys back for episode number 2. And today I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of information on me and who I am and how I came to be in this field and all the things. So I want to first start by saying, if you're not already, head over to my Instagram. Because I'm going to be posting one of those question polls so that you guys can give me some more information about you guys and who you are, because if we're going to be besties, we've got to get to know each other. So with all that being said, let's jump right into it. So a little bit of background on me. Who am I? Where am I from? What do I do? All these things. I am currently living in Lowell, Massachusetts, but I grew up in Andover, and after high school ended up actually moving to Methuen. So still pretty relative to the area. If you're familiar with this area, you know that. But I have always had a love and joy for children. I've been babysitting since I can remember, and had a really awesome opportunity when I was younger to get to know how to work with infants and to learn a lot. And so I had the amazing opportunity to have that infant experience, which a lot of people don't have. And it really sparked my joy for working with children. And it really made me wonder and think about what I wanted to do from a young age. And I always wanted to open my own daycare. It started off with being a teacher. That was the goal for the longest time. And as I would talk about the logistics of it, and I realized and found my joy and passion for management, it really switched, and it made me want to be a daycare manager and to oversee things and to work with all these children and these educators. Wow, I can't speak today, you guys. Anyways, so when I was in high school, I actually ran a network of babysitters. I had 8 employees that were high school and college students, and I had over 80 clients in the Andover area. And if you ever watched the Babysitters Club or read the books, that's essentially what I was doing. I created this basically network of sitters, and I would get inquiries from clients and do marketing. And then I would look at my employees' calendars and I would schedule them, and I did trainings and I did invoicing. I did everything. I loved it. And that's really where I found my joy for management. And I decided, owning a daycare is what I want to do. So after college, I went to Framingham State University, and thanks to COVID, I actually was able to finish college earlier than anticipated. I had gone into school with some college credits. And so between that and then the summer and winter courses that I took, and I took extra heavy course loads during the regular semesters. And with COVID being virtual courses that I was taking, I was able to take a couple extras. And so I ended up actually graduating with my bachelor's degree in child and family studies with a minor in entrepreneurship in 2.5 years. And so before I knew it, it was December of 2020, and it was time to go look for a job. I had graduated on a random Wednesday in my bedroom, and I walked downstairs and I said, all right, I start work tomorrow. And I made my way to a daycare, which is what I always wanted to do. I became an infant teacher in a daycare for about 6 months at one location in Andover, and I loved it, but I wanted more of the management things. I wanted more ability for growth. And unfortunately, that center I was at didn't have that. And so I continued to look around, and I actually looked into the daycare that I went to as a child. And I found out that they were hiring for infant positions. And so I reached out and I did an interview. And I was offered a spot as one of the lead teachers in a classroom, which quickly progressed to a new school year because I got my job in July. And for that following school year, they asked me if I would open up and be the main teacher in a classroom and be able to open my own infant room. And I was super excited, and I had this opportunity for growth that I really was looking for. And about 3 months into that job, I had found out that there was an even more opportunity, and that one of the program manager positions at the center was open, and they were looking for people interested. And so I ended up applying for this position, and to my shock, I was handed the position, and I was super duper excited to do more, to manage, to oversee, to educate, and to talk to employees and families, and work alongside them, because that's really what my goal was and my dream. And so I began working as a program manager of this daycare. And to put in perspective, this daycare had 18 classrooms. We had 240 children a day and over, I think it was 60 employees. And so I really got to feel like what it would feel like if I oversaw a daycare and if I opened my own center. And I absolutely loved it, but I quickly realized that it was extremely draining, and more so than I expected. I was super happy that at the age of 21, I was able to, actually, I was 20 when I got the position, that I was able to, have this salary position of this job of my dreams. But as time went on, I realized that I was getting extremely exhausted, and that I was working crazy hours. And because I was salary, I wasn't making any overtime. I was babysitting on the weekends so that I could have money to fund money, because I also had purchased a condo of my own in December of 2021. And so I had bills to pay and I had things to do. And as at the time a 21-year-old, I needed some more reliability. And so one weekend I was babysitting, and this client of mine had just had her third little one. And she said to me, she's like, "Hey, I've been having this postpartum doula come, and they come at night, and that way I can sleep. And they take care of the baby and they do this and that." And she was like, "You should really look into it." And I was like, "Oh, postpartum doula. That's interesting." I've never actually heard of that. I've heard of birth doulas, but I've never heard of a postpartum doula. And so I started doing some research and quickly came to realize that this is exactly what I was looking for, I think, my entire life. And I sprung on it. So I started doing even more research and finding the certification program I wanted to go through. I was finding information on how postpartum doulas become certified, what they do, how much they can charge, the need for them around here. I was looking up everything. And I found Dona International, and it was amazing. I took my virtual training in March of 2022, so just over a year ago now, as I'm recording this episode. And I was stoked. This weekend of the training was amazing. It really sparked my love for newborns and infancy all over again. And it made me really feel like I knew what I was doing. Yet at the same time, I had a huge imposter syndrome. Also, some more information about me is that at this time, I am only 22, and I am currently childless. So I don't have any children. I'm not married. I live alone. I don't have what a typical postpartum doula would have. And so it's really this bit of an imposter syndrome. But through this course, I was able to realize that I have a lot of knowledge that I'm excited to share. And that's also part of the reason why I am sharing stuff on this podcast, is because I want to share my knowledge and my tips and tricks and my just my support to all of you guys. And so I took this leap and I started, taking clients part-time while I was still working at the daycare. And come July of last year, 2022, I said that I needed to go do this full time. I was loving it, but I wasn't able to give the time and energy to this business that it deserved. And so I made the jump. And in July of 2022, I left my job and I started becoming a postpartum doula full time. And it was so scary. Like I said, I had a mortgage. I was living alone. I didn't have much savings because I had just purchased this condo. And somehow I had to figure it out. And I knew that my mental health needed this. And I knew that I was going to put my everything into this to make it work. And I was so lucky that in the first few months of business, I was able to pay myself back for all of the investments I made into the business. I was able to truly put my best foot forward. I was able to get inquiries and support families, and I was able to start working with some clients. And I have chills thinking about this right now and saying it, but it felt perfect. It felt like I was finally where I belong, and I was able to support families and make them feel good and feel reassured. And it was truly amazing. And I, even still to this day, when I work with clients, feel the same way. I'm able to impact people's lives during this scary and emotional and overwhelming and unsure time and make people feel confident in their parenting and ask questions and feel good and enjoy, as my business name goes, the serene moments that come with postpartum. And so all of this was amazing. Okay. And I absolutely loved it. But I was working so many overnights, and I quickly realized that I needed to get more information. I needed to educate and feel like I knew more about infant sleep. And so I started looking into sleep trainings, and I wanted to just educate myself. I wanted to learn more. And I was on Facebook one day and I saw this interview with Jane Havens, who is the owner of Center for Pediatric Sleep Management, so CPSM. And I listened to this podcast, this interview with her, and I learned so much. And I learned that sleep consulting was a thing. And I knew sleep training was a thing, but I didn't realize that there were sleep consultants. And I was like, you know what? This is so cool because I can educate myself, but then I can also help to educate and train my employees and their children. And instead of just working with them for 3 months, I can start to work with clients for longer periods of time. And so still this past, it was in the fall. So just a few months after leaving to do this full time, I was like, all right, well, this is scary because that's a big investment, but it needs to happen. I want to have the information to be able to answer questions and to support clients. So I said, screw it. I signed up for the course and I finished it, and I started taking clients in the end of 2022. And since then, I've had a large handful of clients that I've been able to help through sleep consulting, both postpartum clients and just sleep consulting clients that I found. And it's been amazing. And so now I am certified through Dona International as a postpartum doula, and I'm certified through CPSM as a pediatric sleep consultant. And now I have this lovely podcast that I'm launching. And I also have a membership that I host. So now I'm able to support people in so many different ways. And it is truly amazing. And I guess just to jump back, so I do have a membership as well, and you'll find more information about it in the show notes or if you head over to my website. But I've decided to open it up so it's not just for past clients anymore, which it was originally. And I wanted to open it up to all of you guys, all the listeners, and give you guys the opportunity to reach out to me and get some information from me and some support, and to really just feel like you have someone to talk to. Like I said in my first episode, Google can be overwhelming. And so I kind of want to be your Google. So if you're ever interested in joining the membership, you can head over to my website and sign up there. It's $30 a month. And it includes a specialized newsletter on a topic every month that I pick and I handwrite for everybody. And then I also have a members only Zoom call where you guys can ask questions, get to know each other, get to know me, ask questions for me, all these kind of things. And then you also get access to messaging me all month. And so you can ask me questions. Currently, members like to ask questions about some examples. They like to ask about products that I recommend. A lot of them will ask about different developmental milestones and things that their children are going through. They'll ask about sleep. They'll ask about breastfeeding, all these different topics that I have tidbits of knowledge that I can share. I will happily share. So if you're interested in some support like that, definitely join the membership. It's a blast. And I would love to have you. And and I have a couple other things that are coming and will be coming out soon to be launched with this podcast that include documentation and information and tips and tricks and things like that for you guys to have access to as well. And so then that way I can share my knowledge to a wider spread of people. But that is all my businessy type things. So again, we got to jump back to this BFF stuff, right? So, who am I though? This is really who I am. I do absolutely love my job, but there's more to me than just working. Granted, I am a workaholic because I absolutely adore my job. And so that's typically where you'll find me the most is in my car on my way to a client's house, or where I am right now, which is in my office at home. Doing some work on the computer, recording a podcast episode, taking client inquiries. There's lots to it. When I'm not doing that, I am typically in bed binging some Netflix. So if you have any Netflix recs, definitely send them my way. I know that moms and parents in general, I swear, have the best Netflix lists because what else are you doing at 2 a.m. when you're feeding your little one but watching Netflix? So if you have show recommendations, definitely send them my way. I'm also a lover of cooking. That tends to be what I do for my self-care is cook. I will always love making new recipes and playing around with food, jamming to some music while I do it. So you'll find me there or at Target. Target is like, I swear, my second home. It's horrible for my bills and my credit card would not agree that it's the best thing, but I think it's the best thing. So we go with it. And yeah, that's typically what I am up to in the world. I'm doing cooking, I'm watching TV, I'm shopping at Target, I'm in my car. Sometimes I'm doing them alone. Sometimes I have my lovely girlfriend along with me, but overall that I am working. 9 times out of 10, you'll find me doing something work related because I do truly love what I do. And I truly makes me the happiest person to be able to educate and support people during this crazy time. So that's me. That's who I am. If you have more questions on me, I would be more than happy to answer them. And I want to, like I said, get to know you guys as well. So head over to my Instagram, tell me about you, tell me that you listen to the podcast. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys soon. I've got a couple different guests lined up. So get your excitement up. It's going to be a super huge blast and I cannot wait to share some of the upcoming episodes with you guys because they're going to be amazing. If you have topic suggestions or ideas, as always, let me know as well. And that is all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the Postpartum Plan podcast. I hope that today's episode brought you support, relatability, and valuable insight. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review and share with any of your prenatal and postpartum friends and family. Your feedback helps us reach more parents seeking support. And if you're looking for additional resources, please feel free to connect via Instagram at Serene Moments Doula for constant information, tips, and tricks, or check out my website, www.serenemomentsdoula.com. See you next week.